really warmly welcome you to today's Accelerator Session, hosted by the Prevent Waste Alliance and co-organized by Yunus Environment Hub and GIZ, on From Ideas to Impact, how Accelerator and Innovation Programs foster innovation. My name is Annika, and I'm hosting this meeting today together with my colleagues Julie Chrysler from Yunus Environment Hub and Nung Nguyen from GIZ Vietnam. You can also see their faces in their videos. And I'm really happy to have this session here today. And before we start, we would also really like to know who's with us in the room today. So please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat, and please just use the chat actively for any questions or comments that you have. And as you've noticed, this session is being recorded. So your participation automatically means that you grant the recording permission. Please unmute yourself while not speaking, and please use the chat for any questions. Then to introduce you also to the host of today, I would quickly present briefly the Prevent Waste Alliance. I'm working for the Secretariat of the Prevent Waste Alliance, and we are an international think and do tank for circular economy practitioners with more than 600 members actually from the private sector, academia, civil society, and public institution. We have been launched in 2019 by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Development, Cooperation and Development. And we work on several working groups on plastics, e-waste, organic waste, financing, digitalization, awareness raising, behavior change. But we also conduct pilot projects and innovation programs, which is why we are here today. And we already started with the welcome and check-in. And I'm really happy to introduce the agenda today with you for you. So we will have at first Pieter van Os with the inspiring keynote on the role of innovation for the circular economy. Then we will briefly introduce the two innovation programs that will be presented today, Innovate to Prevent from the Prevent Waste Alliance and Towards Zero Waste from GIZ Vietnam. And then we will directly jump on into our innovators who will be presenting today. From different fields: e-waste, plastic, digitalization, and organics, reflecting also the different working groups that we have in the Prevent. And then we come to the main part of the session, our panel discussion on how do an accelerator and innovation programs foster innovation. And there we will ask the innovators to share their experiences. But without further ado, I would really warmly welcome now Pieter van Os from CIRCO for his inspiring keynote. I'm really happy to have you here today. Pieter has a career in proposition development and is a co-founder of the CIRCO initiative. And he's now responsible within CIRCO for methodology development and the international rollout. Both CIRCO's and his personal motto is creating business through circular design. And therefore, he will now set the stage on the role of innovation for the circular economy in the so-called Global South. Happy to have you here, Pieter, and the floor is yours. I think you're still on mute, but we can see your presentation now.
That's where you asked for. So you can see my presentation now?
Yeah, we can see it.
You can hear me as well. Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity to share something of our experiences. I will briefly introduce myself. So I'm Pieter. I think my own keywords are curiosity and together we get further. So you can do a lot of things yourself, but if you really want to make the planet a better place, you should work together. I'm working for CIRCO, and CIRCO is a circular design program, and I will get back to that later. And what we do with CIRCO, we facilitate production companies in their circular journey, which means they are innovating by developing a circular proposition. So that is a product service you can offer to your customers, and that is including a business model. So what is the business incentive, or how can you earn money with it? It's also involving the product or service design. So what is then a product that's fit with that business model, and also a roadmap for implementation. So how can you bring that successfully to the market? We have started in the Netherlands. I'm living in Amsterdam myself, but we have made our methodology available in 20 countries worldwide. So here you see the map. I have made all countries in Europe gray, but you can see that we have a lot of activity also outside Europe, meaning that our methodology is applied there, that I've been training trainers there. We have a network of trainers using our methodology, so we learn a lot about things that are going on also in countries outside the Netherlands, and I would like to share some of those experiences with you. So today it's all on innovation, and so I think what is very important to realize that innovation starts with, and then you can think for yourself, but I think rethinking is one of the most important things, because if you do things that you always did, you will get the results you always got. And circular economy or circular innovation is a lens that will challenge companies and people to look at a different way at things they have been doing for decades. And so that will provide new insights for circular innovation, but also a lot of insights that might improve your business in another way than only in a circular way. So, but then the next question is, why should you rethink? So why should you start such a process? And I have 6 reasons to start rethinking. So the first one is because you are curious. And so you see this picture, and many young children, they continuously ask why. And as a parent, you might become a little bit annoying at a certain point of time. But at the same time, it's also striking in how many occasions, as a parent, you do not have a clear answer to the questions asked by children. And so it's good to stay curious all your life. And most entrepreneurs often wonder why are things like they are, and they see improvements, and that is also their driver for innovation. Another driver for innovation is constraints, and another expression is design loves constraints, because if you have constraints, you have to rethink, and it will also ignite creativity. And what we have experienced that if we are crossing planetary boundaries, and that's quite a serious constraint, but many people and many entrepreneurs are inspired by solving climate change and other related issues, and that is a driver for them. So that is also then igniting a lot of creativity. Then on a much more business-related element, it's on mitigating business risks. And if you look at the graphs on the right, so then the period that material was available in an abundant way is over. So many resources are scarce, and security of supply is under pressure, and prices have become volatile. So as a manufacturing company, you should look what are the risks, and you should also anticipate on that. Then another thing is because regulation is pressing you. So a lot of EPR schedules have been introduced for packaging and other low-value product groups. And to comply with this regulation and also to keep your license to operate, you should also rethink your business, and the entire packaging value chain is under rethink at the moment. Then another thing is on business opportunities. And, what you see here are the business models that we use with CIRCO, and there are enormous business opportunities. And many entrepreneurs of you are driven by creating impact, but at the same time, it helps when you can also have attractive business models to fuel your business. So if you look at this, you might say circular innovation is in many occasions addressing multiple of these elements and reasons to rethink. So then you might conclude, so why need circular entrepreneurs and companies then, why do they need support for innovation? Well, I think there are many reasons for that. And so why there's also a public interest for circular innovation. If you look at the Paris climate goals, then 45% of reaching these goals should come from circular innovations. And so we believe there is a public sector role, and that is facilitating the required system change. And there is also a private sector role, and that is circular innovation by current industries, so current companies, but also by startups. And then if you look at public authorities, they can drive the private sector by a push, that's regulation, so forcing companies to start moving, but also by supporting them. So by supporting startups, but also already existing companies, and that is acceleration. So that is where acceleration programs come in place. And in the Netherlands, the government does both a push with regulation, but also a pull. And CIRCO is one of those pull elements. And so what we do, we are a circular design process program facilitating 3 important aspects of circular innovation. And I will now dig into those 3 aspects for some minutes. So the first one is business model innovation. And if you look at how companies operate, they create value. So that is here in this value hill. And what they do, they source materials. And that's mostly not in a very gentle way. And maybe also human interest is not served with that. Then they put a lot of energy and labor to those materials. And then it becomes a product. Then there is logistics and installation and sales of the product. And then the company comes at the magic moment of sales. You sell your product, you get in your money, and with a little bit of luck, you never see back your product again. I know this is exaggerated, but this is the linear model. Then people use it for a very limited period of time, and when the product is not used anymore, you see all the value tumbling down the value hill, and the product ends in landfill or in incineration. If you look at the circular business, then you can say, you can make improvements with material selection and efficiency, but more importantly, it's about closing loops. So can you add repair or maintenance, or I will get back to that, or can you also close systems by prevent from leakage? Then if you look at the circular economy, at the left hand of this value hill, you have a lot of cost saving opportunities. So that might be attractive. But what is more attractive is there are many business models that will facilitate a longer and more intensive involvement with your customer and with your product. So if you look at the business models that here are on the poster, then there are business models to support a longer use of the product, by instance, by a repair service. But there are also business models to make reuse of the product attractive for a company, or to facilitate reuse of the materials. And there are even two service models that extend the involvement of the company over the whole lifetime of the product, by service models in which the product is only an enabler for the company to offer a service instead of selling a product. So there are many business models, and the companies need help to see those business models and know how to apply them and create attractive business out of that. Then if you do so, and you are going to extend the life, or you're going to intensify your involvement with the customer and the product, you also better anticipate on that in the use scenarios that come after the moment of sale. And for that, there are 6 important design strategies. And so companies need help in order to see how should I redesign my product in order to facilitate the business model. For instance, if you go to refurbishment after the first usage, then as a company, you should anticipate on the replacement of the key components, of adaptability of components, and also on upgradability. And you also should make sure that your operating system, so your software, is upgradable. So those are all design challenges for which it helps if you are supported in a program. Another thing is on substituting materials. So can you make your product, can you reduce the footprint by lowering the volumes of material that you use, by reducing? Or can you make use of recycled materials? Or can you anticipate on better recycling of your product? Then another thing is on renew. So can you use biodegradable materials, or make your product, can you use biomaterials, or can you make your product biodegradable? So those are also design questions in which many companies do not have that much experience, and they can need support, or they can use support for that. And then the last dimension is on value chain collaboration. So for instance, in an EPR, if packaging needs to be collected, then you probably have to arrange that in a collective system. So not only one company, but with the entire industry. And that needs a lot of key elements that here are on this poster. And so how are you going to design all those elements and make sure that you can retrieve all products in the most efficient way and create an upcycling and reuse system for that? So those three elements are essential. Most companies do not have the knowledge at this time to come to this paradigm shift. So that is where innovation, but also then public support comes in, and where acceleration programs play a crucial role, as what we have learned. So this is a very short introduction on what is the power of circular innovation, why is it a public and private endeavor that you need it to go in together, and what are then the three most important elements that need support, as what we have learned in our global experience. So I would leave it by this. I think this was exactly the 10 minutes that I was allocated to, and maybe there are some questions on some things that you want to debate on what I have shared with you.
Thank you very much, Peter. And yeah, exactly. It was a great timekeeping from your end. We have one question by Miho Soga from Japan. From Eduard Zhao from Cote d'Ivoire, and he would like to apply your methodology in Cote d'Ivoire. So what would be the next steps? How could he reach out to you?
Yes, well, thanks for the question. He can send me a mail to peter@circonl.nl. We work with local trainers, so we train trainers, and that's what we have been doing in, for instance, in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Hong Kong, in all countries. And so you need some skill for that. But if there is a lot of appetite for circular innovation, then we can explore if we can also train trainers in your country. So I'm happy to explore that together. So if you write a mail to peter@circonl.nl, or I will put it in the chat, then we can start this discussion.
Great, thanks a lot, Peter. So I see Nung already posted your email to the chat. So yeah, thanks a lot for your input and for stressing the importance of circular innovation. And yeah, if you still have any questions to Peter, please feel free to put them in the chat. Peter will stay with us for a few minutes, and he will be ready to answer your questions also in the chat. Thanks a lot, Peter, for the presentation.
You're welcome.
With that, I would continue sharing my slides again, but then hand over to my co-moderators. 1 second. Julie and Nung for presenting the two innovation and accelerator programs that are the focus of today's session. And yeah, with that, Julie, Nung, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Do you want me to go ahead and get started with the next slide? Great. So thank you so much for the introduction, and happy to be here today and to see so many people that are interested in this topic. Before we dive into the Innovate to Prevent program, which Yunus Environment Hub is implementing on behalf of the Prevent Waste Alliance, I wanted to give you a brief introduction to Yunus Environment Hub for those of you who are not familiar with us and our work. Yunus Environment Hub was co-founded by Professor Mohammed Yunus, who won the Nobel Prize for his work with Grameen Bank and the microcredits, and also championed the social business movement. And so our vision is really to create a world of 3 zeros: zero poverty, zero unemployment, and zero net carbon emissions through the support of social business entrepreneurs. And we do this through acceleration and incubation programs, education and training, and also advocacy work. And it's really great to also be a part of the Innovate to Prevent program, because it also allows us to expand beyond just social business entrepreneurs to also include NGOs and other organizations to help them to scale circular innovations. So let's jump into I2P, as we like to call it. The Innovate to Prevent program supported 15 innovators across 3 different tracks to build inclusive circular solutions. So again, implemented by Yunus Environment Hub on behalf of the Alliance. The 3 tracks that were covered and where we have 3 amazing innovators with us today who will speak about their solutions. We covered e-waste in one track, upstream solutions to the plastic value chains, excuse me, in the second track, and then digital solutions to the circular economy in the third track. So we had a lot of great experiences throughout the program. You can see some of the screenshots here. Of course, it was digital, being the fact that we were across 11 different countries. But maybe Annika, you can go to the next slide. And before we go to the map actually of the innovators and where they're coming from, just to give you a little bit of information about the program and the impact. So again, 15 innovators came from 11 low and middle income countries. And many of them received financial support or grants to be able to actually implement their innovations at scale. Yunus Environment Hub supported with technical assistance through 2 virtual innovation boot camps where we guided them with different support mechanisms. We had over 4 masterclasses. I see we haven't updated this slide on different topics where we identified needs by the innovators. So covering different things from impact measurement to digital marketing, crowdfunding, different solutions to help them to be able to scale their solutions. And then each of the innovators received individualized coaching. So over 300 hours in total through the program with support for these innovators, and also helping them to practice their pitches for the demo day that we held together with the Prevent Waste Alliance. Participants also had access to the Alliance network through matchmaking sessions. They also used the Impact Nexus platform for M&E work around CO2 emissions and other impact, and then also had different expert sessions for mentoring. So very, very intense, and looking forward to see the impact as we continue to monitor that through our impact measurement process to get feedback on the implementing partners and the support that they received and the impact of that in the coming months. So I think finally we'll close out with a visual of where we can see our innovators coming from. Today we have 3 innovators on the call from India and Ghana and from Albania. And we also have innovators from around the world that you can see here. Happy to share more information. I'm sure there's information in the chat that's already there for you, but happy to answer any questions about the program as such. I can go ahead then and pass it over to Nung for the other introduction. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Julie. And so I'm here to present about the Towards Zero Waste Accelerator, which is done locally in Vietnam. And we're focusing on supporting early stage solutions, so beyond idea, but maybe facing some challenges in scaling their impact. So the program is really focusing on solving that scaling up issue. And before we run into the program, we did like a landscape study of over 118 solutions and 20 different intermediary startup support organizations and other programs as well. And it gives us a few ideas of what to do with this program. So next slide, please, Annika. And next, yeah. Great. So basically, we found out that a lot of innovators, they kind of work from the environmental perspective. They see an environmental issue and they created this product, but maybe they haven't had the customer perspective. The product is great, but do the customer really need it? And so we want to help them with finding their customer, finding the business case, because it's really how any business survive, circular or not. And it's also the basis for their access to financing as well. And when we work with circular business model, we see that they face particular problems with that they are a bit more expensive due to the lack of established or optimized production and supply chain. But also they need to change the consumer behavior as well. We found out that consumers, they may not buy products because of its circular economy. They want something specific for them in it. So yeah, changing consumer behavior, but also if they do B2B sales, then it's a very long sales cycle that not a lot of startups or early stage solution can afford. And so we want to work with them on, we want to go deep. Click next, please, Annika. yeah, so we want to really like go in depth with each of the business case. We work with a small number of companies only, so 10 solutions, but we hope to make a big difference with them in terms of their business model. And our approach is that, next. So for our approach, we go through firstly like a need assessment process. So 2 weeks on site with each of the companies to understand their business model. And in here, there are like 2 key things that our program deliver. The first one is the one-on-one coaching with including subject matter experts. So we focus on doing go-to-market, targeting the right customer with the right positioning and through the right channel. So a case example of this will be Lemit that they will present next. So next slide, please, Annika. Yes, so this is the case of Lemit, and we have Mr. Travis here who will be sharing about their solution and how they work during the program. But also beyond the one-on-one coaching, we also do B2B connections, and about 7 connections were made through the program. And by B2B connection, I don't just mean giving an introductory email between 2 businesses. We really want to do business-to-business connection to show the companies that there is different customer groups with different actual need when they use these circular products in businesses. So a case example of this is with Net Zero Pallet. So that's next slide. So Net Zero Pallet, they produce pallet made from coconut husk, which is an agricultural waste, usually burned on field here in Vietnam. And this will replace wooden or plastic pallets. And basically through these B2B connections, we connected them with a logistic companies where they found out that the use case for pallets for logistic company is very different from export companies, which was their original target customer. So with these B2B connections with the logistic companies, they can expand their customer group and rethink about how they develop their product to serve a different customer group. Next slide. Yeah, we also do workshop, but also peer-to-peer support as well, and provided a small financial support to each of the startups that participated in our program. Next slide, please. So in total, 115 something hours of one-on-one individual coaching with 14 different experts. And what is the results that came out of this is we view it through 3 lenses. In next slide. We view it through 3 lenses. So firstly is the human capacity development. We want to see that the participants have transformed their mindset, their skill set, and their business and leadership capabilities. Secondly is from the organization development, where the startups that we work with can implement new processes or optimize their activities. And lastly is the cooperation development. We want to support the startups in forming partnerships with other startups or with cooperations and expanding their network. So this shows in 5 MOUs that were signed during the demo day. So yeah, that's quickly about our program. I think I only have the last slide of some nice picture of our on-site works with 10 different solutions. But you will hear from one of them today. Mr. Travis will present Lemit Foods. Thank you, and back over to you, Annika.
Yeah, thanks a lot also for keeping the time to the 2 of you. Yeah, I'm directly handing back to Julie, who will be introducing the innovators from Innovate to Prevent.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Annika. Great. So really looking forward to the pitches here. So just to get you started, first I'll introduce Agabas, who's an entrepreneur and expert in e-waste management and sustainability. With over 5 years of professional experience, he's a visionary founder and CEO of AppCyclers.
You hear me?
I think we're waiting for a second for the pitches, though. We'll just do a brief introduction of all of the speakers, and then we'll pass it over. That's okay? Fantastic. All right, so Agabas is the founder and CEO of AppCyclers, a pioneering e-waste management company, digitizing the collection, sourcing, and purchasing of e-waste in Ghana. So that will be our first speaker. Then we have Dr. Ruby, who's a qualified ophthalmologist who once pursued a promising medical career and made a significant decision to to transition to social work. She is the founder of Why Waste Wednesdays Foundation and will present the VCAP project, which offers an innovative borrow a bag approach from India. And then finally from I2P, we have Marisa, who is a project manager, researcher, and circular economy advocate from Albania, committed to making sustainability practical, inclusive, and community-driven. With over 9 years of experience at the Center for Competitive Skills, she's the driving force behind Quarkomia AL, Albania's first digital platform for circular economy awareness and action. All right, so now I'll pass it back over to Nung to present from Vietnam. Thank you.
So from Vietnam, we have Mr. Trần Anh Tuấn, or Travis. He is the founder and chairman of Lemit Foods and a very seasoned business consultant with over 30 years of international experience in strategy consulting, innovation, sustainable development, and entrepreneurship. He's here today to present about Lemit Food, a pioneer in circular plant-based food innovation. Back to you,
Great,
Annika.
Thanks a lot. And yeah, Agabus, now it's your turn. And the slides should be up. Please tell me when to switch the slides.
Yeah, thank you very much, Annika, and good morning to you all. I believe I'm audible enough, right?
Yeah, we can hear you well.
Awesome, great. So next slide. So my name is Agudo Kweku Agabus, and I am the founder of AppCyclers. AppCyclers is a social enterprise. We are located in the northern part of Ghana. We were founded in 2019. Our main core mandate is basically to use web technology, data analysis, and community engagement to ensure safer disposal of electronic waste and also ethical recovery of recyclable raw materials. With this being said, traditionally, we collect e-waste from individual homes, businesses, and corporate organizations, where we process and also recover secondary raw material, of which we sell to the downstream market to basically reproduce or remanufacture other electronic devices or plastic products. As part of our engagement, we do community engagement programs by educating the various key stakeholders within the value chain on human-centered behavioral change regarding electronic waste to also create possible economic opportunities within northern Ghana. We've since inception, I've collected over 100 tons of electronic waste. We've also been fully involved in repairing and refurbishment of electronic devices. We've created strong strategic partnership with local organizations and as well as international organizations. So you can search us up on www.AppCyclers, and you can reach us also on our email. Next slide. So one of the most important core areas we look at is basically backslide is basically ensuring that we work with local informal workers within the value chain. And for the time being, we've been working with them, and one of the common use cases we've seen is with Mr. Abdullah, who is a dedicated local recycler within the value chain, and he has spent over a decade of his time working within the value chain. But then he faces constant challenges such as looking sources of collecting electronic waste, and within the value chain also with regards to price fluctuations, agents within the value chain, making him lose in between the value that he's supposed to get from most of his daily operations. Next slide. This actually cut across the whole African country and even most of the foreign world, where inefficient and unreliable waste collection services basically cut across, and also recyclers finding it difficult to source waste materials, as well with constant price fluctuations and various agents within the value chain, making it much more hard for local recyclers to get value on their operations. Now, due to highly policy demand on reuse of secondary raw materials, off-takers also looking forward in sourcing recyclable or secondary recyclable raw materials, finding it difficult in getting most of this recyclable raw material. This has contributed in us losing over 3.2 billion market opportunity within this sector. Next slide. So this actually influenced us in coming up with an idea, which is basically a digital online platform that is systematically digitalizing the collection, sourcing, and also purchasing of various e-waste and recyclable raw materials. So this is how it's done. Next slide. Now, on the digital platform, we basically, we connect e-waste pickers, the local recyclers, and also off-takers on a systematic platform where each individual can basically trade. So with the e-waste pickers, being individual or corporate organization can request for pickup of their electronic waste within a seamless click of a button. The local recyclers who are registered on board on this platform have access to a bidding platform where they can see a lot of requested e-waste section. Depending on the country or depending on the region or town in which they are, they will be able to pick up most of those requests and then handle over their collection. As well, same with the local recyclers, they can list their recyclable raw materials on this digital platform, whereby off-takers can systematically source various quantity regardless of any quantity they are looking out for on the digital platform. Next slide. So mostly what we do basically is to ensure or we project a Pan-African digital platform that really makes it easy for trading or collection or recycling of electronic waste within the value chain, made easy, simple, and then effective. Where collection is done seamlessly, local recyclers are able to basically get more recyclable materials or more electronic waste to process, and off-takers would be able to also get more material to process. Next slide. So what really makes our approach much more different is because of our AI-powered models that basically helps in regulating pricing mechanisms, and also identifying the various fractions and components of various e-waste as well as recyclable raw materials, and optimizing the matchmaking between the various key stakeholders between the value chain. Next slide. So throughout the program, we've been able to develop our beta testing model. We currently tested and then come up with a clear business model. We've also built strong relationship, and we're projecting to basically have over 1,000 users on board on the platform. Next slide. Yeah. So I think it was really insightful being part of the project with the various support funding we had, and also the technical assistance and all the connection really helped us in able to bring forward. So we look forward to the next stage in seeing how we can basically increase most of this value to reach the ultimate goal that we are looking out for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Agabas. Yeah, and here you can also see the contact details again. Maybe you could also post them in the chat. But with that, we would already continue with Dr. Ruby from Why Waste Wednesdays. And Agabas, I saw there was a question in the chat. Maybe you could also answer it there. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so
Ruby,
much.
The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so very much. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to present Why Waste Wednesdays and Project WCEF today. So next slide, please. So we are a not-for-profit organization. We are focused on environmental sustainability and waste management. I'm the founder of the not-for-profit, and we are into environmental awareness and education, innovation and technology, behavior change, community engagement, and circular economy and sustainability. Next slide, please. So the problem is of plastic, we all are aware. Talking about India, the per capita plastic consumption is around 11 kgs. The plastic's contribution to the total solid waste is more than 8%, and 43% or more of the plastic produced is single-use plastic, and less than 10% of globally produced plastic is actually recycled. And our flagship program, WCEF, it absolutely focuses on tackling the challenges of plastic waste management in India. Thank you. Next slide, please. Okay, so this initiative, WCEF, actually means a solution or an alternative. And we came across this starking, I would say, fact where we got to know that people are wanting an alternative. Nobody is averse to the idea of an eco-alternative, but they do not want to, most of the time, either invest into an eco-alternative, or they find it very expensive, or various other reasons, but two main were availability and the cost. And that is when we brought in this initiative called Borrow a Bag. Now, this particular project offers the consumers to borrow a bag against 20 rupees deposit across 1,000 stores in Delhi. And every bag carries a QR code, which takes you to the list of all these stores, and you could return the intact and clean bag and take a total and complete refund. Next slide, please. In the last just 9 months since we've been with the Accelerator program, Innovate to Prevent, we've prevented 75 lakh plastic bags from entering into the circulation by offering a reusable cloth bag alternative. Next slide, please. It was a hugely beneficial journey for Why Waste Wednesdays, and personally also for myself, because I'm a doctor by profession. I do not come from a management or a sustainability or a development background. So for me, it actually came in as a blessing, this Accelerator program, where it helped me do my financial plannings in a much better way. It made me more prepared for the market. It brought me a lot of network and community, especially Prevent Waste Alliance network and their collaborators. It helped me get into a mode of scalable growth. And during this tenure, 25,000 more bags were rolled into the circulation, which is actually a testament to the momentum, support, and structure provided by Innovate to Prevent. Now, I'd like to also discuss about where these bags come from. So almost close to 80% of these bags come from recycled fabric, which is given to ladies from a lesser privileged background, and they are the ones who stitch this, and we buy it for them, and then we put it into the market. So one cloth bag.
I think we lost Dr. Ruby for a second. Is that right?
Yes. I think somebody muted me. So okay, so I'll come back again. Hugely benefited from Innovate to Prevent program in terms of financial planning, in terms of network, and making us ready for a scalable growth. 25,000 more bags were put into circulation during this 9-month program, which is a testament to momentum, support, and structure provided by Innovate to Prevent. And these bags are made out of 80% are made out of recycled fabric, which are passed on to women from lesser privileged backgrounds. They stitch the bags for us, and we put these bags into the circulation, not only bringing a cleaner planet, but also empowering women in the bargain. Next slide, please. So very interesting fact and a fun fact which came our way during the entire project was very simple. If you see, everybody wants to switch to an eco alternative. They want to own and use a reusable option, but they don't want to invest into it. And when you bring that deposit or a borrow mindset into the project, everything changes. So what changed the entire behavior for consumers here in our case was the borrow factor. More than the bag factor, more than the reuse factor, it was actually the borrow that went into our favor. Next slide, please. So thank you so very much. I'm hugely grateful to Innovate to Prevent team. They've been going out of their way to support and help us, to connect us with their network. One-on-one mentoring was simply superb. It gave me deep insights as to how we could prepare better for our market. And I quite look forward to continuing with my journey with the Prevent Alliance, and hope to make more connects with them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruby. And with that, we would like to move from India to Albania, actually. And I would like to give the word to Marisa. And Ruby, also for you, there were some questions in the chat. Maybe you would have a look and answer them there. Thanks a lot.
Sure. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I want to start with a simple confession. A few years ago, I had heard the term circular economy, like many of us do, at conferences, in reports, in passing, but I didn't fully understand it. Then I looked around at my own country, Albania, and I realized something. People weren't just unaware of the circular economy, they were excluded from it. Business owners didn't know how to start, young people weren't learning about it in schools, and most families had never even heard the term. So we decided to do something about it. Next slide, please. Okay, my name is Marisa Andone, and I lead projects at Center for Competitive Skills. Can you just please press also 2 times? Center for Competitive Skills is a woman-led nonprofit working since 2016 to empower people through education, skills, lifelong learning, and opportunity. Our team works across Albania, helping young people and adults navigate a rapidly changing world, especially in the green and digital transition. We are teachers, coaches, psychologists, and change makers, and we're trying to make sure that sustainability is not just for the few, but for the many. Next slide, please. Now, let me paint a quick picture of the reality in Albania, a small European country. Sand mining is destroying our rivers. Pollution is harming biodiversity, community, and public health. 90% of our municipal waste ends up in landfills, and the recycling system is barely functioning. But beyond the numbers, the real issue is this. There's a gap between knowledge and action, between intentions and tools, and between big plans and small businesses trying to survive. Next slide, please. That's why we created Charconomy.al, Albania's first digital platform dedicated to circular economy, learning, and practice. Imagine this. You're a young woman in rural Albania. You have an idea for a circular business, but no mentor, no course, no roadmap. Or you're a small business owner who wants to reduce waste, but you don't know where to start. Charconomia gives you a starting point. Through the platform, we offer awareness raising through online campaigns and storytelling, a national network connecting companies, academia, public institutions, and communities, support for women-led and rural circular businesses, access to green economy insights and opportunities, practical tools, and skill training for individuals making the transition. Next slide, please. With the support of Prevent Waste Alliance and Yunus Environmental Hub, we launched 2 free self-paced online courses in the Albanian language. One of them helps businesses apply circular practices, reduce waste, improve efficiency, and align with regulations. The other one supports job seekers, especially women and vulnerable groups, to explore careers in the green economy. And these aren't just theory-based modules. They're packed with stories, case studies, local context, and job links. Next slide, please. During the support we received, we expanded both our skills and our vision thanks to targeted training and mentorship. It gives us the tools not just to build a platform, but to create momentum. In just the first month, over 60 participants enrolled in our courses. And today we've joined forces with national partners like the National Agency for Employment and Skills and GIZ, so that even more individuals can access the knowledge they need to survive in the green economy. Charconomia is our message to the world. No one should be left behind in the green transition. Yes, we have a long way to go. By 2030, we aim to train 10,000 individuals and 1,000 businesses. And more than anything, we want to turn awareness into action. Next slide, please. An interesting thing is that although we designed the platform for Albania, diaspora entrepreneurs from 7 other countries accessed it looking to start eco-friendly businesses back home. That moment gives us goosebumps. It reminded us when knowledge is accessible, it spreads, it becomes a movement. When it's practical, it empowers. And when it's local, it resonates globally. Next slide, please. At its heart, circular economy, it's not just about waste, it's about value. It's about finding value in what we once threw away. Materials, yes, but also in people, in ideas, in communities. Let's make sure no one is left behind in this transition. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marisa. Yeah, and there again, also your contact details. Maybe you could also post them in the chat. And yeah, Marisa is also available if you have any questions to answer them in the chat in the next few minutes. So with that, then we are moving to Vietnam. Travis, the turn is yours.
Okay. First of all, thank GIZ and the organizer for my chance to talk about our story. Back to a few years ago when I visited the Whole Foods supermarket in USA, they see lots of jackfruit meat there, but most of the producers from India, even Uganda. But back to my country, lots of jackfruit, at least 80,000 hectares of jackfruit in Vietnam, but most of the young jackfruit have been continue to throw, as considered as the waste only. So that's why we try to transform the approach of waste into the sustainable nutrition using the jackfruit. So next slide. The problem our company is solving at the moment is first thing, you see that there is a big gap for the quality protein in the world, not only in Vietnam. So even the vegan people, they eat a lot of vegan food, but not good for health. The second thing that we want to solve is the climate change. As you know that the traditional meat industry, they account for nearly 15% of the greenhouse. And the last one we talk about the farmer when they have to throw out the young jackfruit. So our solution based on the innovation and the circular model that I learned from CIRCO. So the first thing we target on the zero waste innovation. We transform the jackfruit byproduct into the meat alternative. And the second, we follow the circular model, especially the so-called methods from Pieter. The third one, we focus on the climate change again. The jackfruit or the plant-based product can reduce the greenhouse gas. And the fourth one, that we focus on the fair trade by working with the farmers. So we increase the income at least 20%. Our value proposition is offer the healthier, sustainable, and fair trade alternative. Yeah. So next slide. Our sustainable business model combines innovation by using the circular model and the R&D. We're quite good in the R&D. We also follow the social impact, SDG, and more important that our business model can target a quite big market, and not only in Vietnam but also in for the world. Tell you the truth that at the moment I'm negotiating with Europe, a conglomerate company, supermarket for a new venture to produce the ingredient for the Europe market. And we also have some revenue from R&D consulting for local company here. The next slide. So what we achieved through the program by working with GIZ, number one, the program helped us to refine the CIRCO business model in a good way in terms of we use the modular design, product design principle so that we can optimize the production. The second, we go further with the market research, very details, and understand about the market and how we can, go to market strategy. The third one, again, that is a go-to-market strategy. We differentiate our USP and choosing working by different target segment. Number four, and we have a target message, personal message to different kind of segment. Okay, next slide. Interesting that we discover along the journey again. The first thing, we follow the jackfruit design modular principle by the so-called methods. Beyond that, we have produced at least 8 different SKU. But actually, at the moment, we already this approach also helps us to try to work on the MVP for a new product, that means the cocoa powder using the jackfruit seed If you see on the right-hand side, there is something like a product portfolio that we work at the moment. And we hopefully that we can get a new partner for the new product that the cocoa butter I just mentioned to you. In general, you see the price of the finished product is about 24 times compared to the ingredient. So that's we all agree that now the agriculture byproduct is not a waste, but is a value. So next slide. So that's finished from my all. So again, thanks for your presentation, for your chance today, and happy to see and answer any question.
Okay, thanks a lot, Travis, and thanks to all the innovators today for presenting their approach, what they have achieved throughout the program, and a fun fact that they learned along the journey. So now we've heard a lot from us, so from our programs, from the innovators, and now we would really also like to hear from you on the main question of our session today. So how Accelerator and innovation programs can foster innovation. So therefore, we created a little poll that you can access by scanning the QR code on the slide, or also by clicking on the link in the chat that you will see. There it is already. And our question would be, so what support mechanism and what type of support do innovators in the circular economy really need? So what is your perspective on, what are the most important support mechanisms now that you've already heard the presentations and what has been done throughout the programs? And this could be a really nice learning opportunity. Marisa, we will start with the panel discussion in a second, but before we would briefly start to see what the audience is thinking about this question, and then we will continue. So we are still waiting for some answers. I will just... I think I would give you a few seconds or minutes to think about this. And maybe Marisa, what was your first thought when I posted the question? And then we can move on with the poll.
So this is something that is also been going on in my mind. I believe that the circular economy, it's not just a plug and play model. It's not a product you buy, it's a system you build. That means that, or at least in my opinion, innovators need time, need trust, need tools. They need flexible funding, but I believe that innovators also need a space to test, to fail, and to improve. They need mentors, not just consultants. For example, in my case, I had the luck to be part of Innovate to Prevent program and had an amazing mentor as Julie from Yunus Environmental Hub. Another thing to add is that I believe it's also important to have user-friendly data and tools, and also visibility and recognition are very important in my opinion.
Thank you very much, Marisa. And I agree that like a good mentor is definitely a great benefit. Maybe Travis, do you have anything to add on that question?
Yeah, I think some of the things that we need from the beginning, that is the R&D equipment. As you mentioned, as you know, that the plant-based product that require a lot of advanced technology and equipment. For example, the extruder, but at the bootstrap startup, we cannot have money to do that. You know, in Vietnam, we don't receive any support from the government. The second thing we talk about the mentorship for the circular product design again. Especially for the foreign market, because we also look for to export. And the next one may be the certification for export market, IP protection, and the last one and most important thing is the patient capital or maybe a hybrid funding grant or equity to help us to scale the model. Even the market demand is very good, but we need to lack some resource.
Okay, thanks a lot. Maybe Agabus, so what support mechanisms do you think are most helpful, and what was also most helpful throughout the program, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was really interesting and insightful being on board on the project. And in terms of it gave us the opportunity to accredit the idea that we are building and also to increase our tractions within the industry. That is one. But relatively, the mentorship and technical support that was provided was really core in helping us to kind of bring most of the idea we had into fruitions and building a reliable product. Yeah. And so I cite that I think what Dr. Travis also made mention in terms of high capital investment or impact investment, that would really help most of the startups ideas that we come up with to really build and scale most of this product, because relatively there is high demand for most of the solutions or products that we're building, and to be able to enable the scale across the various thematic industries that we are looking at, kind of a patient capital or high capital investment would really help to kind of actualize most of these ideas and visions into bringing it into more fusion as well. Yeah. So basically, this is what we would want to iterate on.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah, and Dr. Ruby, what are your thoughts on this question?
Yes, so it was actually not just quite an enlightening journey. I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of it. And as Marisa rightly pointed out, mentor makes all the difference. And Bramble has been, hugely supportive, very receptive, listening very patiently, and then coming up with solutions and idea, which was very, very insightful. And the Prevent network, I would say, has immensely added to the program. And I feel so very connected to the Prevent Alliance that I quite look forward to this never-ending kind of a journey, and a lot of collaborations coming my way. Of course, there are a lot of opportunities, I would like to say, in terms of behavior change, which I feel is the key solution to the problem of waste management, and policy tailwinds like plastic bans and SDG aligned mission, especially in India. Swachh Bharat mission has been doing very, very well, and growing CSR focus in sustainability is also adding a lot of value to the programs. It's very encouraging to be, and it feels really worthy to be working in this system now with actually an ecosystem, which I see 8 years back, the ecosystem was not there. But now as I see it, you feel truly encouraged and motivated to continue your journey in sustainability and circular economy, and the kind of impact that is visible through even small initiatives, I think is a great kick to keep going against. Of course, there are many odds. I won't say the journey is like, it's not a bed of roses, of course, but then it's hugely motivating, and our graph is upgoing, which is very encouraging. And I've learned not only from my mentors, I've also learned immensely from my colleagues and fellows who have been in the program, and giving us a chance also to collaborate with each other as well. So, for me, it was a game-changing journey, and I quite look forward to continue with this network even in the future.
Great, thanks a lot for the first round of answers. So I hear that mentorship is really important, like a surrounding to try to test and error, to enable that. Also the network, also provided by the Prevent, for example, is an important point during accelerator programs and innovation programs, and of course, so investment and the right equipment. But before we continue with the second round of questions, and also I see some questions in the chat, which I would like to refer to, I would briefly show the answers that the audience gave on our question on what support mechanisms do circular economy innovators need the most. So we see a bit bench of policies here, so supporting surrounding also from the policy side. Then also, again, systems and policies to make innovation scalable, business support, local profits as well, good ideas. That's also an important point. And go access markets, so go to market strategies as well, and tools and knowledge. I think these are really interesting thoughts. Thanks a lot for actively participating in the poll. And the part on policies brings me to one question in the chat. So Eduard from CECP asked, what do innovators expect most from government? So what kind of support do you expect from this side? Whoever wants to go.
I think Travis is very passionate about this.
Okay, as you mentioned, that we are a bootstrap startup, so we need the seeding, funding from the beginning, especially from the government. But the most interesting is most of the local authority, the government authority, they really don't understand the value of the so-called innovation. So it would be hard for us from beginning. When we work with this project, the local government say, "Oh, are you crazy? You can't produce the jackfruit meat." I don't believe that. So that it took nearly 2 years, but we don't receive any, seedings like this. It would be very hard. Even the procurement, when they need a gift, they should, incentive or encourage us to sell to the government somehow. But nothing at all.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, definitely. And Marisa, you also raised your hand on that question.
Yeah, I will speak from a perspective of an NGO. So in our case, as innovators, we expect stronger education and awareness efforts, especially for the government of Albania, recognition of our work, opportunities for collaboration, and I believe really important is a voice in policy making. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Agabas, Ruby, do you have anything to add to that question?
I think both of them have covered it beautifully. All I'd like to add is the funding support, which Travis mentioned. It should be a non-linear kind of a funding with a flexibility and adaptability, because we have also been growing in this journey. And so, you actually can't have funding coming in fixed heads. There are times when we'll have to grow and evolve the program, and the new heads would come in. So I think that, yes, of course, and a more focus on not just simple awareness, but sensitization and translating awareness into action, bringing in solutions, to problems, more than, kind of labeling a product as non-sustainable and banning it. I think, first of all, we need to bring in a lot of alternatives, and the alternatives also have to be sustainable. So sustainability also has to be sustainable. And one of the biggest problems which I feel is that in circular economy, the challenge is that the circular product or the eco-friendly product or a recycled products is most of the times, I won't say it's a rule, but most of the time it's more expensive than a virgin product. And as such, we, it's facing a lot of struggle entering into the market, and the cost factor. So some policy changes, bringing in tax waivers or something that can actually support a recycled product more than the virgin product, I think will make a lot of difference.
Yeah, thank you. Agabas, yeah.
I think a lot have actually been said. So for me, literally, government providing an enabling environment to really help most innovators to thrive within the value chain is really core. So enabling environment, as we made mention, financial support, right? Infrastructures available to really help in supply chain management, and a whole lot of policy actuation to really make sure that things are really kept in place to make entrepreneurs or innovators working within the value chain much more easier, right? So basically, in terms of policy, registrations, and a whole lot of permitting processes within the value chain, really kind of slow a whole lot of innovators down in establishing their main business. So these are core relatively things that we would really look out for from the government to really ensure that entrepreneurs, innovators have enabling environment to really thrive.
Thank you very much, Agabas. I also have one question for you in the chat by Miho Soga. I heard that some e-waste pickers have severe health problems because of e-waste, has some bad chemicals. Has your solution helped any health issues of waste pickers, which also connects to one of my second questions. So what are specific challenges in the e-waste sector for circular innovators?
Yes, so relatively that has been really high concern. So what we've done is collaborating with most of the CSOs organizations within the country and providing health and safety trainings for most of these waste pickers, and also being able to provide some of those protective gears to ensure that within their operational activities, they put in place most of these health and safety precautions, and also wear some of these protective gears to basically keep most of these health menaces that might come as a result of that. With regards to challenges and opportunities, I think there are a whole lot of opportunities within the value chain with regards to firstly, increased amount of electronic waste within the environment or within the country that needs to be collected. And secondly, there is a high demand for secondary recyclable raw materials, which basically compel various local recyclers to do collection more, to process more, and to be able to meet most of this demand. So this really brings an opportunity for us to do more within the value chain. And interestingly, in terms of opportunities as well, the various equipment when it comes to machineries that basically is needed in recycling most of these electronic devices safely in a healthy and sound environmental manner is a bit lacked within the African context. So it also creates a bigger opportunity, a bigger market to basically collaborate with corporate organizations or machineries or manufacturing abroad to basically bring forth most of these machineries to help in recycling most of this electronic waste in high quantity. So these are some of the various opportunities, but then challenges is basically unregulated or unimplemented policies within the value chain, and also lack of infrastructure that really makes, in terms of supply chain management within the value chain, very, very difficult. And most of these key stakeholders not fully map out. So in terms of getting to know who does what, who basically manage what, is a bit form of difficulties in getting to know. So most of these challenges also makes it difficult to operate as an innovator or an entrepreneur within the value chain. So bringing forth most of these solutions and challenges can really help in increasing the value we look out for.
Thank you very much. Dr. Ruby, as you're representing a solution, reducing plastic waste, what are challenges and opportunities in the plastic sphere for circular innovators?
Certainly. So I'll talk about opportunities first. So the biggest opportunity and the biggest, I would say, the encouragement is that there's a huge scope for behavioral transformation in any kind of setup. If we could do it in India, I'm sure the global scenario would be equally encouraging. Also, the fact that since the behavior change is actually the key to most of the problems, I think this is even more encouraging that we have the solutions here. Then policies also now, especially talking about India, are in favor of sustainability and circular economy. Apart from that, we're getting a lot of mentorship options. Like we got one, it was amazing. We also have mentorship options in India, which come out all out in support of such programs and projects and ideas, translating and upscaling the ideas into real-time impact. Also, a growing CSR focus, especially again in Indian scenario, I think makes it very, very positive and sustainable for us also, to carry on our projects and upscale our projects. Now, challenges, I won't say these are challenges, of course, you'll face roadblocks and obstacles, but they also give you a chance to kind of grow. So as I said, certainly, as Marisa pointed out, the low consumer awareness and resistance to adopting alternatives is the biggest challenge that I see in this sector. Funding gaps also come in, and of course, funding that comes in with a lot of ifs and buts. I think, we do get chances and opportunities to apply for funding, but at times they come in with a lot of riders. So I think that I feel that needs to change. Also, there's a need for systemic integration, like, for example, retailers, policymakers, citizens, government bodies, urban local bodies, all the stakeholders need to come together. So waste management is not just an organization's problem or a government's problem. I think every waste generator needs to realize and take ownership for his or her waste which is generated. I think the day that we are able to do something about that, I think everything would change. We will not need to work so hard against the odds. And personally speaking, I forgot to mention something which was very important about the program. It gave me a ticket to INC 5. I attended the negotiations which were held in Busan, and I must thank Prevent Alliance and Yunus Environment Help for the same, because it gave me a much bigger exposure, coming in contact. I stayed there for 9 days in Busan, and I think that was an eye opener for me, coming 195 countries coming together and discussing what can be done about plastic was very, very encouraging, and to understand the challenges and the roadblocks for each country, especially for small island countries, for example. I think I'm truly grateful for that experience, and that was one of the biggest highlights for me, personally speaking, because I took that opportunity. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ruby, and also for highlighting how the Prevent network and the members among each other could support. Travis, what are your thoughts on, as an innovator working in the field of using food waste for an innovative circular solution? What are opportunities and challenges from your point of view?
Okay, from the beginning, we are positioning like a plant-based food product, not the vegan product of vegetarian. But even most of the vegan people, they just buy on the cheap price product. So sometimes we have to compete on price. But as you know, that the circular product, we cannot compete on price with a very good quality product. So sometimes we want to export, but again, we lack of resource to do. Even I have a good connection in USA, but we cannot do it at the moment. So at the same time, we have to balance, how to target on the local market in a reasonable price, but at the same time, we have to find out opportunity to export. So in that case, we have to find out the partner or the investor working together for the export market. They are most ideal market for us. The second challenge, we talk about the R&D facility, as I mentioned. And the third one may be how we optimize the production based on the circular model. That is a new thing, not easy to do. We hope that we will reduce the price significantly if we get an economy of scale. Talking about the opportunity, this time again, the demand for the vegan or the plant-based product, even in Vietnam or global market, increased very fast. So that is a good thing for us. The second is we think that in Vietnam, there's an agriculture country where we have a lot of agriculture byproduct cannot be used at the moment. So we can take advantage of that, buying the cheap ingredient, then produce a high quality product, sell at a good price. The third one maybe is the demand from the government for green transition and ESG model that we follow. But that's still promising at the moment. Still promising. We hopefully can get support from the government maybe in the next few years. Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot for sharing the challenges and opportunities, dear Travis. So Marisa, you're providing a digital tool, for creating awareness and education and creating the consumer awareness that Ruby also mentioned as a challenge. So which role can digital tools play to overcome these challenges and create incentives for awareness raising and behavior change?
Okay, so I will share something that I have seen firsthand. When we launched Economia, we didn't just launch a website, we opened a doorway. People who have never heard of circular economy, farmers, tailors, teachers, suddenly had access to our information, to our free courses in their own language with localized context. So I believe this is the power of digital tools. They don't just inform, they can activate. They remove the barriers, they tell people this is for you, not just for experts in Brussels or Berlin. And when people feel seen, when they feel capable, they can innovate. For example, a rural entrepreneur can learn how to design a zero waste process, or a young job seeker can understand where the green jobs are and how to get there. So this way they can rethink their products, reduce their waste, share their stories. I believe this is how digital can become behavioral. Build communities, can connect innovators who would otherwise feel isolated. And this way innovation becomes inclusive and starts to scale. Thanks.
Great. Thank you all very much for this fruitful discussion. I think we heard a lot of presentations today, and thanks for all the audience as well for staying with us the whole time. I think we heard a lot about that we shouldn't focus on the waste, but the value. I heard that in several presentations. We learned about 4 really inspiring solutions from the field of food waste, digitalization, plastics, and e-waste. And thanks a lot to the speakers for actively engaging and discussing in this panel discussion. We heard about the importance of mentorship in innovation programs and an enabling environment, which also enables trial and error, which is just usual in developing innovations and innovative solutions. We heard that investment and funding is of course needed in this sphere, and as well that policies should also create an enabling environment for circular solutions by creating benefits for solutions which are really sustainable and circular. And of course, we also heard that in network is really important for circular economy innovators. And there I would like to briefly come in with more information about the Prevent. So if you would like to learn more about the Prevent network, you can just visit our website. You will also find it in the chat in a few minutes, or you can always reach out to us via contact@prevent-waste.net. You can also find the email address in the chat. Thanks a lot, Nung. And